As you already know, the UK left the EU political structures and the European Parliament on January 31st in 2020. Now the Brexiteers blame the government for not implementing Brexit properly, and others want the UK to join the EU again. The EU, of course, moved forward after the UK left. So, in the next weeks, I will make a test here on my channel by bringing news about the EU in my midday videos. And that will keep people informed what the UK left and what people want to return to make informed decisions and give it a more fact-based approach. Since my magazine channel is reserved for information on the development of the Russian war of aggression against Ukraine for the time being, that is another reason to do this here. But I anyway believe exactly my audience on this channel needs this kind of information. And of course, there's a new playlist EU there again. The 2022 report on the EU's trade defense activities adopted last week shows that the European Commission has continued to be active and assertive in defending EU producers against unfair trade practices in 2022 by robustly applying the legislation and ensuring that measures are effective. The Commission has also acted to make sure that third countries correctly apply trade defense rules, with some successes in ensuring continuous access for the EU producers to export markets. Some 177 measures were in place by the end of 2022, almost a fifth of which address circumvention practices. The highest number of EU trade defense measures concern imports from China, Russia, India, Korea, and the United States. Thanks to the EU's defense measures, almost 500,000 manufacturing jobs in the EU are protected in sectors such as steel, aluminum, chemicals, and ceramics. Dumped and subsidized imports from China remain the greatest challenge, causing damage to European manufacturing industry. To ensure the effectiveness of the EU's trade defense instruments, it is essential to monitor the adopted measures and take appropriate action against circumvention. In 2022, all the regulations imposing definitive measures included monitoring clauses to minimize the risks of circumvention. The Commission opened 2 anti-circumvention investigations and 1 anti-absorption investigation in 2022 to examine alleged actions by exporters designed to evade and undermine the effectiveness of duties. Following Russia's unprovoked and unjustified military aggression against Ukraine, the EU has suspended import duties on all Ukrainian exports to the EU, which includes suspending the collection of any EU trade defense measures in force on imports from Ukraine, notably hot-rolled flat products of iron, non-alloy or other alloy steel, and certain seamless pipes and tubes. The EU's safeguard measures on steel was suspended on imports from Ukraine. As regards anti-dumping measures on imports from Russia and Belarus, subject to restrictive measures or sanctions, the Commission maintained its trade defense measures even on sanctioned products. This aspect did not change findings in investigations which demonstrated the existence of injurious unfair trading practices by Russia and Belarus. The EU steel safeguard quotas previously assigned to Russia and Belarus were reallocated to other exporting countries proportional to their share of overall imports in 2021, ensuring that the needs of EU steel users are met. But there were also investigations in third countries affecting EU exports. Ensuring third countries correctly applied trade defense rules also proved important, with the Commission interventions resulting in some successes in ensuring continuous access of the EU producers to export markets. There was a significant drop in the number of trade defense measures imposed against EU exports in 2022, down to 12 compared to the 30 the previous year. As regards new investigations opened against EU member states, there was a substantial drop in 2022, with only 7 new investigations initiated, comprised of 3 anti-dumping and 4 safeguard proceedings, compared to the 26 in 21. This is one of the lowest numbers of new investigations opened against EU exports in the last decade. At the end of 2022, there were 177 trade defense measures in place, 151 of which were anti-dumping, 25 anti-subsidy, and 1 safeguard. 38 of the measures in force were the result of anti-circumvention investigations. There were 5 new and 41 review investigations opened, compared to 14 and 28 respectively in 21. The Commission imposed 11 definitive measures in 22 compared to 12 in 21. And the highest number of EU trade defense measures concern imports from China, Russia, India, Korea, and the US, as I said. The most frequent user of the trade defense instrument against EU exports in the US, with 38 measures in force, followed by China and Turkey with 18 each, then Brazil with 11, as well as Canada and Indonesia with 9 measures in force. So it's not a one-way street. And if you want to know more, the next videos are right here in the end screen. I'll see you there. I'll be back.